Why you envy others, and what they never show you. There is a quiet pain that many people carry but rarely admit. It appears when we scroll through social media. It appears when an old friend buys a new house. It appears when a coworker receives a promotion. When someone else falls in love. Or when another person seems to possess everything we have been seeking for years. At first it feels like admiration, then it becomes comparison. And eventually it turns into envy. Most people do not like to admit that they envy others. It feels ugly, it feels shameful. We want to believe that we are kind, generous, and supportive people. Yet somewhere deep inside we often ask the same question: why them, why not me? Why does life seem easier for some people while others struggle endlessly? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus believed that envy is not caused by what other people possess. It is caused by our inability to see the full price they have paid. We only see the reward, we do not see the cost. We see the successful entrepreneur. We do not see the 20 years of anxiety, sleepless nights, failed businesses, financial risks and sacrifices. We see the happy couple. We do not see the arguments, compromises, disappointments, and emotional burdens they quietly carry. We see beautiful homes, expensive vacations, and perfect families. But we rarely see debt, stress, exhaustion, loneliness, or fear. Human beings naturally compare themselves to others. We measure our lives against the people around us. But comparison is dangerous because it shows us only selected pieces of reality. Imagine standing outside a theater and looking at the stage through a tiny hole. You see the actors smiling beneath the lights, you hear applause. You assume everything is wonderful, but you cannot see backstage. You cannot see the exhaustion, the arguments, the failures, or the sacrifices required to create the performance. Life works the same way. Everyone presents their stage. Very few reveal their backstage. This is why Epictetus asked an important question: are you willing to pay the price for the life you envy? Because every life has a cost. Fame demands your privacy, success demands your time. Relationships demand compromise, children demand sacrifice, money demands responsibility. Popularity demands constant attention, nothing is free. And yet many people want the reward without the price. They want the admiration without the effort. The status without the struggle. The love without vulnerability, the wealth without risk. But life does not work that way. Imagine a successful executive earning a large salary. People admire her position, her office, her lifestyle. But perhaps she works 70 hours each week. Perhaps she misses family dinners. Perhaps she constantly worries about losing her job. Perhaps stress follows her home every evening. Would everyone truly want that life if they experienced its hidden costs? Or consider social popularity. Many people dream of being liked by everyone. They want invitations, attention, admiration, and recognition. But popularity often requires endless social energy. It means attending events you do not enjoy. Listening when you are exhausted, smiling when you are unhappy. Maintaining relationships that no longer feel meaningful. Sometimes it means becoming the person other people want instead of the person you truly are. The Stoics understood something that modern society often forgets: everything valuable has a price. And sometimes the price is greater than the reward. Today's culture constantly tells us that we are missing something. Advertisements tell us we need more money. Social media tells us we need more followers. Movies tell us we need romance. Society tells us we need success. And because of this endless message of lack, many people spend their entire lives chasing things they never truly wanted. They inherit desires from other people. They borrow dreams from society. They pursue goals they never chose. Epictetus encourages us to stop and ask, what do I actually value? What kind of life do I truly want? Because not every prize deserves to be won. Not every opportunity deserves pursuit. Not every dream belongs to you. Perhaps you do not own a luxury car. But you also do not carry the debt. Perhaps you are not famous. But you still possess your privacy. Perhaps you are not invited everywhere. But you enjoy peace and solitude. Perhaps you remain single. But you still own your freedom and your time. The ancient Stoics believed that peace comes not from possessing everything, but from understanding what things truly cost. There is a story told about a man who envied his neighbor's large house. Every day he walked past it and imagined how happy he would be if he owned it. Years later, he finally spoke with the neighbor and discovered that the house came with enormous debt, endless repairs, financial pressure, and constant worry. Suddenly, the house looked different, the dream changed. What he envied was not reality, it was an illusion. This happens constantly in our lives. We envy appearances, we envy stories. We envy carefully edited versions of reality. But reality itself is always more complicated. And perhaps the greatest wisdom is understanding that every choice is an exchange. If you choose one path, you give up another. If you pursue ambition, you sacrifice comfort. If you choose comfort, you may sacrifice achievement. If you seek freedom, you may sacrifice security. If you seek security, you may sacrifice freedom. There is no perfect life. There are only different prices. And the question remains, which price are you willing to pay? But Epictetus wanted us to see something even deeper. He asked us to imagine a situation that almost everyone has experienced at some point. You hear that someone is hosting a wonderful dinner party. Everyone is talking about it. The most popular people are invited. The event seems exciting, important, unforgettable. But your invitation never arrives. Immediately the mind begins to suffer. Why wasn't I invited? Did they forget me? Am I not important enough? What is wrong with me? Many of us know this feeling, not necessarily a party. Perhaps a group of friends went somewhere without you. Perhaps co-workers gathered after work and did not ask you. Perhaps everyone around you seems to belong somewhere while you remain outside. The pain is real. But Epictetus asks us to examine the situation carefully. He says that invitations are purchased with a certain currency: attention, praise, approval, social effort. When people become popular, they often pay continuously for their popularity. They remember birthdays, they attend events, they flatter others. They answer messages, they maintain connections. They sacrifice time and energy. And because they pay that price, they receive invitations. If you have chosen not to pay that price, why should you expect the same reward? This may sound harsh at first, but it is actually liberating. Because it reminds us that life is not unfair. Life is based on exchange. Everything costs something. If you spend your evenings quietly reading, reflecting, or resting, you may receive fewer invitations, but you gain something else. You gain peace. You gain time, you gain solitude, you gain yourself. Modern society fears missing out. People call it FOMO, the fear of missing out. We fear being excluded, we fear being forgotten, we fear not participating. But perhaps we should ask another question. What if missing out is sometimes a blessing? What if every event you missed also saved you from exhaustion? What if every invitation you never received protected your peace? What if every door that closed preserved your freedom? The Stoics believed that what we lose externally often creates space internally. And internal freedom is worth far more than external approval. Consider how many people spend their entire lives trying to impress others. They buy things they cannot afford, they chase careers they hate. They attend gatherings they dislike. They hide their true opinions. They laugh at jokes that are not funny. They agree with people they do not respect, all to avoid rejection, all to gain approval, all to feel included, yet the price is enormous. Little by little, they lose themselves. Their authentic voice disappears. Their true desires become unclear. Eventually, they no longer know who they are. Epictetus believed that freedom begins when we stop selling ourselves for approval. Because every time we seek validation, we hand our happiness to other people. And other people are unpredictable, their opinions change, their attention shifts, their admiration fades. If your happiness depends upon their approval, your peace becomes fragile. But if your happiness comes from your own character, your values, and your inner life, then nobody can take it away. Perhaps this is why solitude feels uncomfortable to many people. When the noise disappears, we finally meet ourselves, without distractions, without entertainment, without approval, without comparison. And many people discover that they have spent years avoiding themselves. Yet solitude can become one of life's greatest teachers. The philosopher Blaise Pascal once said that all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly alone in a room. There is wisdom in that statement. Because when we learn to enjoy our own company, the world loses much of its power over us. We no longer chase every invitation. We no longer envy every success. We no longer compare every detail of our lives. We become enough. Imagine two people. One has a large social circle, constant activity, endless messages, and busy weekends. The other spends evenings reading, walking, thinking, and enjoying silence. Which one is richer? The answer depends entirely on what they value. The problem is not that one person has more. The problem is believing that everyone must want the same things. Some people genuinely desire wealth, others desire freedom, some seek status, others seek peace, some want excitement, others want stability. There is no universal answer, only personal truth. Epictetus encourages us to define success for ourselves, not according to society. Not according to social media, not according to neighbors, but according to our own values. Because many people spend decades climbing ladders only to discover they lean them against the wrong wall. The older we become, the more we realize that many things we once envied were never worth pursuing. The expensive possessions, the popularity, the endless ambition, the competition. Meanwhile, the truly valuable things often receive little attention. A quiet morning, a peaceful mind, good health, a trusted friend, meaningful work. Time, freedom, inner stability. These things cannot always be photographed. They cannot always be displayed. They cannot always impress others, but they nourish the soul. And perhaps that is why the Stoics focused so much on inner wealth. Because external wealth can disappear, money can vanish, beauty fades, fame declines, positions change, relationships end, but character remains. Wisdom remains, virtue remains. The person who develops these qualities carries them everywhere, and nobody can steal them. So the next time envy appears, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what price did this person pay? Am I willing to pay it? Do I truly want what they have? Or do I simply want the image of what they have? Very often the answer changes everything. Perhaps you are not behind. Perhaps you are simply walking a different path. Perhaps your life is not missing something. Perhaps your life is protecting something, your peace, your freedom, your authenticity, your time. The world constantly tells us to acquire more. Epictetus reminds us to understand more. Because wisdom is not found by possessing everything. Wisdom is found by knowing what is enough. And perhaps enough is closer than we think. Perhaps the life we seek is not somewhere else. Perhaps it already exists in the things we overlook every day. The quiet evening, the simple meal, the trusted friend, the peaceful home. The freedom to be ourselves. At the end of life, people rarely regret not attending more parties. They rarely regret not owning more things. They rarely regret impressing too few strangers. But they often regret not living according to their own values. Not spending enough time with people they loved, not appreciating the present, not being themselves. So do not measure your life by appearances. Do not envy what you cannot fully see. Do not chase every invitation. And do not assume that what others possess is automatically better. Because every life carries invisible burdens, every reward demands a price. And sometimes, the things you do not have are exactly the things that preserve your peace. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this reflection resonated with you, please consider subscribing to the channel and joining our community. Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. What is something you once envied but later realized was not worth the price? And if this video brought you even a small moment of clarity, please give it a like and share it with someone who may need to hear these words. Until next time, take care of your mind, protect your peace, and remember, the richest person is not the one who has the most. It is the one who finally realizes what is enough.